Not to say she's not, but again,
No, Asia Wilson.
No, he said more than Angel Reese. You know what I mean? To me, I'm thinking she's already had all these accomplishments. Why hasn't it happened already? It should have already happened. We all agree that she should have her own shoe. If we're looking at Nike, maybe Nike's not the move.
30 games and 2,460 total games of NBA season has built up to this. Playoff basketball is finally here. This season has been unforgettable, and the playoff matchups are stacked. Big plays, high stakes, and historical moments are upon us. These games are a must-watch, and there's nothing like watching playoff basketball in person. So if you're looking to hit up a game, you can keep up with the schedule and score last-minute deals with the Game Time app. If you're like me and look for tickets last minute, it can be frustrating and stressful. But with Game Time, I have no worries. Not only have I seen last-minute deals up to 60% off, but they also have the lowest prices guaranteed. If you find tickets in the section or row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Part of the Game Time guarantee is event cancellation protection, 24-hour returns, and job assurance. Game Time always has me covered. So when I'm buying tickets, I eliminate the guesswork and frustration with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and use code SMOKE for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code SMOKE. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. Get ready for a wild action-packed joyride with the new movie Boy Kills World, starring Bill Skarsgård as a one-man killing machine who was trained from childhood to avenge his family murder by the totalitarian Van der Kooi dynasty. Critics are raving that The Boy Kills World is brutal and twisted, R-rated Looney Tunes on acid, and gleeful lunacy. Get ready for martial arts mayhem and get your tickets now. Boy Kills World in theaters on April 26, rated R. 16 teams, 1 trophy. The NBA playoffs are here, and all roads lead to the finals. Will NBA champions like Jokic and Giannis dominate again? Or will emerging stars like Anthony Edwards and Jason Tatum solidify their names in NBA history? The playoffs are where legends are made, and TNT will make sure you don't miss a moment of the action. Tune into TNT's coverage of the NBA playoffs, presented by Google Pixel on TNT, True TV, and Max.
Welcome back to Unplug, our weekly look around. And there was a lot to look around at, Jack. A lot of fun stuff happened over these past week. Denver recap. We had a good time. Went out there and messed with Coach Prime and Shador. And then I see you rocking. You came back loaded, huh, bro?
I hit up the school shop, but Prime said he got some packages on the way for us, so we got more coming.
Also, man, caught up with Jake, the snake plumber, and his mushroom farm. I got a chance to meet Dale and his whole team, man. We had a blast up there. Can't wait for you guys to see that.
Yeah, I'm fresh off my lines, man.
Man, you been psilocybined up?
No, Lions Mane, they got no psilocybin.
Oh, Lions Mane. I thought you said fresh off your lines. I didn't know what she was tooting and booting or what you I didn't know what was going on over here. Just want to know.
This nigga is crazy, man.
Reminder, we're going on tour. The first 2 legs of our tour, Detroit, June 3rd.
Yes.
And Chicago, June 4th, man. So
Pull
be
up.
there or be square. Go to our page for tickets. It's definitely going down, man. Would love to see you guys there again. Chicago or Detroit, where when we said what city should we come to, they represented the most, man. So Again, this is the first 2 stops. I think we got like 6 more. So keep throwing your cities in there, man. We want to come see you guys.
Please come to the show.
You sound like Bob from Martin.
Thank you,
Cowboy Bob. Ryan Garcia shocked the world, man. Dominated Haney. Obviously, you're the expert in the boxing field. Actually, we were all enjoying what Jake gave us on a FaceTime and also a little bit of cannabis because that was 420 as well. So we all kind of watched the fight together from different parts of the country. But, man, what did you see in that Haney-Garcia fight?
I had peeped what Ryan, his mindset was when he came into the weigh-in 3 pounds over. You know, Ryan had no plans of even making weight. He knew the last experience he had in a big fight like that with Tank, where he had to make weight, and he didn't come in the fight strong as he normally feel. So he felt like, you know what, I'll pay that 1.5. I'll probably make 30, 40 million off the fight. That 1.5 ain't nothing. And fuck them belts. I don't even want the belts. I just want to get the money and beat you and get the win. And he went in there and did that. He was a bigger fighter. He was the stronger fighter. Devin punches didn't affect him at all. Ryan went in there and did what he told everybody he was going to do. People thought he was crazy, but he went in there and fought the fight. Now, I will say this, Matt. 3 pounds mean a lot.
Especially in those lighter divisions.
And weight training, all that matters. So I would like to see the fight with the
Catch
weight
weight?
class, and no, with Ryan making weight.
But I'm saying it would probably be at a catch like 145. Then it wouldn't. He already said he's not going back to 140 no matter what. So maybe a catch weight. He said he wants to fight 147. Maybe a catch at 145.
Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I think he's moving on. I think he didn't beat Devin. He beat Devin in great fashion.
Nah, they got to run that back, Jack.
I mean, we saying it, but I don't think Ryan will. Ryan didn't call out Boots was not a great move. He's calling the other fighters. I honestly think, Matt, they're gonna move on because Ryan is not fighting for belts. The only way he fight Devin Haney again for belts at a catch weight is for the belts, and Ryan is not fighting for belts. He's fighting for money, and he's fighting just because he loves the sport.
I don't know. I think they definitely going. I think they got to run it back. The one, I mean, what I saw is, just explosive hands. Obviously,
the speed.
Haney got one of the best jabs, but like you said, his punches weren't really doing nothing to Ryan. And I want to say, I think it was the 7th round. That ref was on some bullshit, man. That ref was on some bullshit. The extra long counts, getting in the way, letting the holding go. Like I really thought that Ryan had a chance to finish Haney. But Jack, you and I discussed it before. I like Haney a lot. I thought Lomachenko beat him.
Perhaps he did.
Yeah, I thought Lomachenko beat him, but it was only a matter of time. He ran into Garcia. Pops, what's it? Bill Haney, right? That's his name?
Yep, Bill Haney.
I just didn't, and we're fathers, so we get it. But he was just talking real greasy out there. And it was, at some point I'm just like, damn, like, this is between them. But at the end of the day, it made a fight. Everyone thought Ryan was crazy. Everyone thought Ryan went off the deep end and he was doing all this. And it was funny because I made a comment like 3 or 4 days ago and I forgot what page it was on. It was just like, if this dude's doing a hell of a job of selling the fight, I hope he's there mentally. And to find out this whole shit was a plan, man. So he did a great job because he did everything he do to sell the fight, and then went out there and performed, man, and shocked everybody. And I don't know if this is, but I read this morning too that he bet $2 million on himself in that fight and won 12 off the betting side too. So if that is true, that's super dope, man. Happy for him. Definitely happy for him because there's kind of been he's a social media rapper or a boxer, and he can't do this, and he's not doing that, and he's not focused, and this dude went out here and did it his way and won. So it'll be interesting to see, who his next opponent, if it's a rematch with Tank, if there's other people in the mix. What do you see?
It won't be Tank. Tank done fought him already. Ryan is not going to do a rehabilitation clause again, so that's not going to fight, and it makes no sense. Tank done already beat him. Ryan getting better, so a lot of guys going to start ducking Ryan. Trust me, because of that speed, his size at that weight class is just dangerous, and he got so much power. So I would like to see him fight either Pitbull Cruz or Shakur Stevenson to see where he really at. You know what I'm saying? And then I think if he fought Shakur Stevenson, I think that'll be a great tune-up for Shakur Stevenson and Tank.
Tank just announced he's going to fight Frank Martin.
Yeah.
And Benavidez will be the co-main June 15th in Vegas.
Yep.
Fight Town. Hold on. Is Fight Town coming back, Jack? You got something to share with us?
I'll let you introduce her since she was already introduced. It sound good hearing you say it.
No, I want to know. Obviously, Fight Town is back. Something you started over at Showbox, and now that we're doing our own thing, we've been able to talk to some people that know some people that owe some people.
Yeah.
And get it back. Get the lines back working. But tell us about it and who you're working with.
Fight Towns, we're back. Shout out to DraftKings. Shout out to BD, my guy, who always making shit happen. Fight Towns is back, man. A boxing show we started at Showtime. We done brought it over here. Now we finna get it back. We're going to Miami. We're going to link up with David Benavidez, Roy Jones, and Tank, and talk to them. Right before the big fight. But having Roy Jones on, we're possibly even bringing on the great Andre Ward. So yes. just to have those two great minds a part of this company and this new venture we're starting with Fight Towns and our new boxing company, Matt. I'm excited, man, because I'm a big fan of boxing, and I love going to these guys' hometowns, learning more about these boxers because I admire the way they stay in shape. The things they go through, the ups and downs in the boxing ring, the punching, the bullet nose, like all this stuff. I admire because I'm a warrior my damn self, but I ain't a warrior to that damn extent. You know what I'm saying? Not to that extent. So I admire those guys. So I'm glad we back. Shout out BD again.
Definitely shout out BD. You know, as you said, we're, you know, in close conversations with Andre Ward, the great Andre Ward, and Roy Jones. Jack, we've been working, man. People don't know, man. We're in the boxing space now. We got some MMA stuff cooking. We got some football stuff cooking. We cooking. You know, we over here cooking, man. So it's
Dream team.
Yeah, man. It's been fun to be able to, you know, we over here creating great content, getting paid like we're still athletes, but then also opening up doors for other people and bringing more people on the roster. Obviously, shout out everyone who's on the roster right now. More big names coming, but more important, man, great content. You know, it's coming from a good place, and you know we're blessed to be able to continue to build our company and do what we love. Jack, now we want to welcome to the show one of our brothers, Brandon Jennings, one of your Oak Hill comrades. BJ, what up, bro?
What up, y'all? What's up, man?
Shit, how's life? Doing? How's everything going right now?
Good, man. Good. Up this morning. Got the podcast in a couple hours, so I just wanted to chat with my boys.
We appreciate you spending a little time with us. Jack, I'm going to let you kind of run it because you guys just had your Oak Hill reunion of sorts. Your jersey was retired, and you guys got a little project coming, so let's talk to us. What's going on?
Yeah, shout out to my little bro, man, one of the realest men I've met, man. We played together in the league in Milwaukee together, somebody who I consider a real brother, bro. So thank you for coming on today, man. Sure. We went to Oak Hill together, you know, got put in the Oak Hill Hall of Fame. Such an honor that me and you both appreciated it and wanted because so many great players come up out of there. We went down there. We got the Oak Hill doc is out now. You can catch it. All Smoke Productions YouTube. We had a great time, man. I think the experience, all the players wasn't there, but a nice group of players that we were inducted with. And then to be back to Oak Hill was a great feeling. Talk about your experience being there.
Man, Oak Hill, man, I remember getting there at 16. Man, definitely a culture shock coming from LA, you know, coming from Dominguez, actually in Compton. And then, you know, just I think, you know, I got to give the credit to my mom, man, because being 16 and her even just having the confidence in me just to go away all the way from California to Virginia and, you know, play basketball was a huge step in my life for me and also a challenge. So I got to give it all up to my mom for that. But the experience was great, man. I was able to, you know, work on my game every day. You know, Steve Smith, you know, the schedule that we played, you know, we was always playing against 8 against 5. You know, the challenges, the different, you know, everybody on the team was going D1. And just you know, just the experience, man, just being able to focus on basketball was something I needed at 16.
Yeah, I agree, bro. When mine was kind of similar. My mama, she believed in Steve Smith too. I know if I didn't leave, I was going to either be dead or in jail, but I knew I could play basketball, and to be there away from everything, focusing on basketball, and still being traveling up to all these tournaments, being able to be seen is everything I needed. Because not only did it show me that the dream of me making it to the next level could really happen, but it also it made me appreciate the game. It made me appreciate Steve Smith and being at Oak Hill and the position it put me in. So it did the same for me.
I mean, the structure, man. Let's talk about the structure of the school. You know, we had Saturday schools. You know, we had to go to church. You know, we had to wear our uniforms a certain way. You know, we had to wear uniforms. So, and we only had like 6 or 7 people to a class. So we got the attention far as like education wise. And then, you know, you just play basketball every day. So it was kind of like, I don't know. It was like, it was like the first Europe experience, I guess, just playing basketball.
I don't know if this younger generation appreciates just the history because, you know, this younger generation is not so much on history. But just to have, you know, 45 NBA players come through there at one point from Carmelo, KD, Rondo, Stackhouse, Rod Strickland, Josh Smith, Michael Beasley, to name a few. I know you guys have a list of guys, but just the history of that program and Steve Smith and not only how it was a positive influences on your basketball life and career and journey, but like you said, B, off the court and you know, taught you discipline and structure and you know, had to do the above and beyond, which is really dope. Why do you guys feel, this is kind of a joint question, that kind of structure on and off the court is so important to continue? Or why is it important for that story to continue to be told?
I mean, I think the way social media is today, I think it's probably needed way more for kids just to focus because they're seeing a lot of things. And, you know, the internet is like, it's a fake place. So, you know, kids get these highlight tapes and they think they're, you know, it's on. And it's like, nah, like, you know, you got to get back to the grit and grind of it. And just being away. man. Like just being away. Like you're not really missing much. I mean, if you can dedicate your life to basketball for, from 16 to 18 and just focus on strictly that. I mean, I think the outcome is going to be insane for you.
But hey, I think too, B. For me, Oak Hill still gives you that old school high school feel. You in a small town, the whole town comes out to every home game, and it's just about basketball there. It's not about nothing else. It's not about no politics. It's about basketball, and you're gonna work on your game and become a better man. I think with, like you said, social media and some money being involved, there's so much going on with kids bouncing around playing, even in high school, not just in the portal. Kids doing that in high school and the AAU circuit too, bouncing around playing from team to team and getting paid. So I think places like Oak Hill is very important if kids want to just be a high school kid, grow up in high school, play basketball the right way, but also be seen the way you need to.
And also to piggyback on that is like you're also playing with other great players. Right, so you're learning how to play with great players. Yeah. So when you play at the next,
I was going to ask, not to cut you off, like what are those practices like? I mean, you guys had D1 NBA players in high school. So what were those? I'm sure those practices sometimes was really than the games a lot of the time.
Yeah, I mean, for me, crazy. I mean, I played alongside Nolan Smith, Alex Legent, Julian Vaughn, Trey Thompson, and every day it was a battle. But like I said, my team was so good, so being able to play with good players was always easy for me. That's why AAU, me and Kevin Love, what I'm saying, we went 38-0 because just playing with Oak Hill every day, like, you learn how to play with great players. And in the NBA, that's how it's going to be anyway.
And Steve Smith was good at teaching, man. He'll probably, our practices start, he'll go through some stuff, teach for about a good 10, 15 minutes. The rest of the practice is all scrimmaging. He wanted live. He wanted you to practice what he teaches live. So he didn't do too much talking. We did a lot of playing in practice.
Fellas, we're going to play a quick game right here with the start of the NBA playoffs, and there's, always a lot of overreactions in this space. So you guys tell me if it's going to breathe in or breathe out. Are you fucking with it or are you not? Adidas is stomping Nike in the signature shoe game right now. Ant-Man just released his debut low tops. Harden came through with his heat. Dame came through with his fire in game one. On the flip side, right now, obviously Giannis didn't play. I think bronze shoes have gotten a lot better now that they're more sleek and kind of up to the newer kids with the kids like fashion. Obviously, KD, D Book, Jaws on the sidelines, and I'm seeing a lot of guys and kids now too wearing the Sabrinas. So with all I just said, is Adidas the top signature line for basketball right now?
No. And they never will be, but they got some fresh shit coming out. That I think the Ant-Mans are super dope. I would rock them if I could. Shout out to Jordan Brand. But
it's stupid.
They definitely doing their thing, bro. I think Nike. The reason Nike lost their steam is ever since they lost Kyrie. If you went to every AAU tournament, because I got sons, I got my daughter, Matt, you got sons, y'all got y'all kids playing basketball, BJ and everybody. You go to these tournaments, it ain't nothing but PGs and Kyries
and Kobe's.
And Kobe's, yeah. You sprinkle a few bronze in there. Now, with my daughter, I'm seeing the Kyries, the Sabrinas, and bronze. So but since they lost Kyrie, it ain't been the same for them. And I think too, Adidas got the young players, some of the young players and guys that's really making noise right now too, Matt, along with their shoes coming out. So if you putting up numbers, your team winning, when you dropping shoes, it all makes sense.
Absolutely. B?
For me, I'm gonna say Adidas is running it right now.
Ooh.
I love the layout that they did. The Hardens, the Ant-Mans. Especially Ant becoming one of the faces of the league. I think with Nike, when you said when they lost Kyrie, that was huge. But I think them missing Ja.
Huge.
Ja right
he
now
was supposed
not playing.
to be. He was supposed not to cut you off. B. He was supposed to kind of that was going to soften the hit that Kyrie left. I agree with you 1,000%.
Yeah. So, lose. I mean, not losing Ja, but Ja being hurt right now and not being on the floor hurts him a lot. So I'm gonna go with Adidas right now. But then you got Curry brand coming up. They just signed.
Curry for real.
D Fox. And then I'm working on some stuff in Under Armour. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. So.
Get your creative hats on and tell us about it.
But also, Kai new stuff is fire too. So he just signed a new big deal over there. Like his new line is fire too. They gonna start buying that.
Yeah, his new line fire.
Absolutely.
Buying that over there.
The way I judge all this is what am I seeing at AAU tournaments? And although I definitely think Adidas is making waves in the league right now, does that transition into dollars with the public? And you guys know, you see the Kobe's, you see, I see a lot of Sabrinas now. You still see a majority of Nike. So
they finna start buying the Caitlins and the Wemby's.
Shit, the Kaylins, the Wemby's, and then Juju. Watch guys gonna start watching.
She's
girls
definitely gonna be next.
There's gonna be a lot of girls.
She's definitely gonna be next.
Floor, man.
Interesting. You said that. We the conversation of late is about Caitlin Clark getting her signature shoe and how come Asia Wilson doesn't have her signature shoe. And I wanted to kind of toss that around real quick with both you guys and hear your thoughts.
Well, I mean, my thoughts. I mean, it just is no reason for her not to have one. I mean, she's won back-to-back. She's won MVP. She's won all the awards. She's been the best player of the year.
Plural MVPs, defensive player.
And the 3 players that got signature shoes are all white. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. And it ain't being racist. These are just the facts. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but look, even to go further, you had 4 black women that went number 1. They never got paid what Caitlin's getting paid. You know what I'm saying? So I
wasn't aware of those numbers.
Yeah. She getting 78. Aaliyah Boston that went to Indiana last year, the number 1 pick. She's the second closest to her. She got 76.
Well, it jumped. So it's supposed to scale up every year.
But still, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying these are the facts. You know what I'm saying? But no question, Asia deserves her shoe. No doubt about it.
I agree. Everything you said, her accomplishment. But is she moving the needle like that? Like these young girls are coming in from college, their numbers are just crazy. The game, can she move the needle like that? I think,
Asia is definitely moving the needle in our culture.
No, but I mean, Jack. Not to say she's not, but again, to me,
Asia Wilson.
No, he said more than Angel Reese. You know what I mean? To me, I'm thinking she's already had all these accomplishments. Why hasn't it happened already? It should have already happened. We all agree that she should have her own shoe. If we're looking at Nike, maybe Nike's not the move. Maybe it's Steph. Maybe it's Steph and his brand. Maybe it's Adidas. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking. But at the same time, and I saw an interesting fact, and I want to say, I don't know if Candace Parker, she had her own signature shoe with Adidas, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if she still does. But the way I was looking at it is you can't hold, obviously seeing 3 white women that have their signature shoe, you can't hold that against those women, though.
Not at all.
People's issues with Nike, and I don't like that people are trying to discredit Caitlin Clark because she has a shoe before she's even stepped in the WNBA, because for the reason that Brandon just said, she moves the needle. She is a movement in herself. So all these people that kind of feel a certain way about Caitlin coming in the league, or she hasn't done nothing, or players kind of saying their little slick shit that we've been seeing them say, they should all be happy because she's bringing eyeballs with her. She's bringing in a whole ecosystem with her. Like they said, Jack, she sold more jerseys in one day than your team sold in a whole entire year.
The Cowboys.
Hey,
but we were just talking about Nike falling off, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, falling off, but yeah.
Falling behind. By not having the signature shoes, right? But because the signature shoes are not popping, right? So you're saying how many players with Nike that have signature shoes right now that's not moving the needle?
I don't know. We'd have to look. I wouldn't want to say.
It's a couple. We just talked about it.
Who are you talking about?
A lot of those players that got signature shoes, we talking about the Adidas has passed them and people are not wearing those shoes, right? They're not moving the needle, but they still got signature shoes. You saying Asia Wilson moved the needle? She is moving the needle because she's winning the championship, but you got guys in the NBA that ain't moving the needle that got signature shoes.
But it's still different, Jack. I mean, a WNBA championship is not, with all due respect, it's not celebrated like an NBA championship.
I'm not saying that. I'm not comparing them like that. I'm not.
No, her accolades, obviously,
in her league, she is that.
She's the one. She's her in her league.
I mean, if I'm Nike, honestly, I'm giving Juju a signature shoe right now in college.
Off the rip.
Facts, no question.
You know what I'm saying? Like that, but that's why you got to go with Caitlin Clark right now, because she's moving the needle, and now it's going to move the needle even more for Juju.
Nobody's denying that. Nobody's denying that. Nobody's denying it, but Asia deserves that too.
Yeah, but you also got to think. I think Asia kind of missed. Obviously, like Jack, we had her on the show. She missed that NIL shit. You know, she said she would have been showing up with minks like Frank Lucas. So with this NIL stuff, these girls are coming into the WNBA bigger than the WNBA.
Yeah,
you know, with their following and their brands and their visibility and their market. You know, you mean the way they can market themselves now. So all these women that are in the WNBA. You can sit. We're all hoopers. We can kind of sense the slick shit that's being said, but they should all appreciate it because they're all these the top 7 picks are all coming in. Top 10 picks are all coming in with built-in. So my whole question, fellas, was would that excitement and the storylines from college basketball translate to the W? Because if it does, it's going to change the game. It's definitely going to change the game. And obviously they're going to go back after this year and go back to the tables and redo their negotiations. And there's some new TV stuff in the works for them. And there's a big sponsor coming in. So contracts and salaries are definitely going to be up. But I just love the fact that we're having these type of conversations because that means the game is growing, whether people like it or not.
I mean, and it's exciting right now. It's exciting. It's going to get better and better. So, I mean, but the WNBA is going to have to do their job, though, to make it bigger. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And regardless what somebody else do, regardless what you do, if you go score 30 and you coming in my league and you big, regardless what you do, I know what I've done in this league. So yeah, you deserve what you've done and what you coming into, but I deserve it too.
No one's arguing with that. No one's arguing with that. But like I said, I just think these younger women, I feel like Caitlin is taking heat, similar to where Asia was taking heat a while back for different reasons. But you can't be mad at Caitlin because she has a big ass deal.
Not at all.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to tell these people. Like, you can't be. It's not her fault.
Right.
It's her fault that she hooped and did, because it's not like she's just, some great white. Like, she's a hooper. I think she benefited off the Steph Curry effect. You know what I mean? People love the way Steph kind of changed the game as a whole, along with Clay and some other guys, but that she shoots the shit from half court without effort, and she's carrying with all due respect, not a super talented team to the Final Four and to the championship. So her game speaks for itself. So I just don't like the negative attention that any of these women are getting, because at the end of the day, all these women are going to help build this game more and take it to the next level.
Okay. Well, can I be negative again? How do you feel about Caitlin Clark and her team that didn't win the national championship get invited to Saturday Night Live, her whole team, but the national championship actually didn't?
Because I'm moving the needle.
Yeah. Dawn Staley not moving the needle?
Not like Caitlin Clark. She definitely is moving the needle. Dawn Staley is definitely moving the needle.
I ain't trying to make this racial, dog. Don't think I'm just speaking the facts, bro. I'm not making it racial because people try to twist my words. I'm just asking y'all a question. I'm not mad
at the question, but I think what B. Jennings said, bro, like it's moving, and Dawn Staley is definitely moving the needle. But nobody, I would argue that nobody right now in this little last month is moving the needle like Caitlin Clark. Period. Not LeBron, not nobody. Like, Caitlin Clark has fascinated and captured the entire world. So no one is moving the needle like her. So I get the Saturday Night Live shit. I get the Nike deal. I get it. Now she gonna have to come and prove that shit, though. You know what I mean? So moving on. James Worthy, the great Hall of Famer, friend of the All the Smoke program, recently said Jokic is a combination of Magic and Kareem. He said, to me, Jokic is Magic and Kareem on the floor at the same time. He's a guard who makes great decisions and is a hell of a passer. But when he wants to be Kareem, he goes down in the post and dominates. Question to you guys. If Jokic wins a chip and an MVP this year, where do you have him on your all-time list? Not all-time centers. We'll talk about that too. Where do you have him in the all-time? Is he cracking the top 10, 15, 20? Brandon, I'm going to start with you.
He's cracking the top 30.
Okay.
Like, I give him top 30 still. It's still early. So
accolades are heavy. Game is heavy. But he's in your top 30.
Yeah, top 30 right now.
Where do you have him on your top centers of all time? Is he top 10 there?
Yeah, he's top 10 for sure. Yeah, he's top 10. Shit, he's creeping off the bench right now.
Okay. So around 6, 7 for
yeah,
you?
He's off the bench 6.
I might put him higher. But go ahead, Jack. Where's Jokic at for you?
Well, one, you can't never go against what James Worthy's saying, because he played with Magic and Kareem, so he know him better than anybody, and that's a great comparison because you can see a lot of both of them in him. I think for me, I got him on the all-time list. I got Jokic top 10.
Ooh.
Excuse me, top 15, top 15, top
Okay.
20, top 15,
Okay.
somewhere in that, yeah. And my all-time center list, I got him top 5.
Ooh. Okay. I think I'm gonna agree. I definitely. I don't know where he's at. I don't have time to knock a list down right now, but I feel like he's in my top 20 players of all time, and he's still got more time, and they got something really good going over there right now. And then as far as centers, yeah, I put him up there, man. I mean, to me, Shaq is the greatest center of all time, and then you got to look. You look at Kareem, and then people say Wilt and Russell, but I'm throwing Jokic right up in that mix. Jokic is tough.
Yep.
Jokic is tough. So we shall see. Are we seeing a passing of the torch in front of our eyes as far as the new wave of the NBA? Steph didn't make it. KD and his boys are up against the next face of the league, Anthony Edwards. LeBron is going to be uphill sledding to see if they even get out of the first round this year. But you look at Ant-Man, Luka. I don't know if they're going to get out the first round, but we all know what Luka's about. And then Jokic. Are we seeing a passing of the torch, fellas?
Hell yeah.
I think so. For the simple fact that when you start to see the guys that was carrying the torch starting to be in the play-in every year, that's a big sign. And you seeing guys like Shai, the youngest team in the NBA, be number one in the Western Conference when Western Conference is normally the toughest conference. That's starting to say a lot. So yeah, the passing of the torch is definitely here.
Yeah, the passing of the torch is here, and the league's gonna be in the good hands, man. I mean,
Great
you got
hands.
Ant-Man, Luka, Jokic, you got Tatum, you got Shai. You got a bunch of young guys, man, that can hold their own, and they're not playing together. They're all like, this thing like they want to. And Ant-Man, he definitely want to go against everybody. So just his demeanor, his aura and what he brings to the game, man. I think the league's gonna be in good hands.
These young boys not really trying to team up. Is this are they going to bring that wave back of not really trying to? Because it was a big 3 era for a minute that we all were a part of and played in. And it doesn't necessarily, but obviously all these guys are young and they haven't got their, they're coming. Some of them are still coming off their first deals. But do you think this next wave is going to kind of take it back to what it used to be, where we're not teaming up? We may get one guy, but that's about it, and we gonna try to we going at each other's necks.
I can see it. I mean, the money too. I mean, Supermax. The way the money's going and everything. The way first team, second team, third team is kind of like it's kind of like you stay over there at this time. And I mean, and the way guys are just putting up numbers too. It's just crazy. Like they're so young, and the way Minnesota's already built their team is kind of like they have their guys. They have him and Cat, and they have a vet in Mike Conley. So some of these teams are well put together. They just got to add just like one or two pieces.
I just want to see it from OKC in Minnesota. I love it. I love that they got there. We all know the regular season is a little bit different than the playoffs, but right as of now, although, man, OKC went down to the wire last night. That was a really good game with New Orleans, obviously minus Zion. But I just want to see it from these young teams. Obviously, Jack, we spoke. It's kind of a changing of the guards from, OKC's number one in the West now. Minnesota finished third. But I got to see it in the playoffs. One thing that also drew my attention was the shit that Anthony Edwards was talking to KD, and KD loved it.
Yeah.
KD loved it. Obviously, KD, being Ant's favorite player, and it's when your idols become your rivals, so to speak. And out of all these young players, and there's a lot of young players, I just love Anthony Edwards' energy and his game backs it up. What was going through you guys' mind when you seen him talking shit to KD like that?
I loved it, bro, for the simple fact that he already came out millions of times saying KD is his favorite player, dog. So when you get a chance in the playoffs to go up against your favorite player, one of the best players of all time, to prove yourself, it's no better feeling than that, Matt. It's no better feeling than that. Even though we the same age, when I got a chance to play against Kobe in the playoffs after they had three-peated and beat them to go win the championship, dog, that was the best feeling in the world. So I looked up to Kobe, even though he was the same age, just because how good he was. But I get it. That's the best feeling in the world. And KD embracing it. You know what I'm saying? He's not taking it the wrong way. He led the competition as well. But it's good to see that you got players coming back that's ready to compete like that and give the game what we want to see.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows his passion, and this is why he's about to be the face of the league. This is what the league wants. Like, this is what the NBA is about. Like, this is what the dogs, this is when the dogs come out, and, this is when you take your game to the next level. This is something that everybody dreams of. You know, everybody dreams to play against their favorite player, get on the court, give them 30, or be in that big game, hit that big shot against them. So, I mean, that just shows his passion and the love for the game. So I'm rooting for the youngin.
The great Detroit Mercy point guard who knocked UCLA out in the tournament, I think it was my freshman year, Rashad Phillips, on Twitter said, KD smiles at like a proud father as he watches a generation he helped build have their moment. In the midst of the battle, this is beautiful. As you get older, you will understand what I mean. KD is one of the greatest of all time. So I thought that was a beautiful, beautifully said by Rashad Phillips. Because like I said, I mean, we're seeing it.
Yeah.
And I hope now people are appreciating what KD has been able to do for this game, what Steph has been able to do for this game, what LeBron has been able to do for this game. Because these guys, you know, 2-3 years, they might not be here after that. So, you know, I love when in an era where everyone loves to talk shit and be disrespectful and critique everything, I hope that these people just appreciate what they've been able to see the last 20 years from LeBron and 17 from KD. And I think Steph's at 15 or 16. So I just hope these people appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
One last thing before we get out of this. Ant-Man said he's the best two guard in the league over Booker. We're going to leave that out there. We're going to leave that out there.
I'm going
Clippers.
I'm rolling.
You're right. I ain't even going to argue. I'm just going to throw it out there. I know Book going to have something to say, and that's the best part about it is they're playing each other in the playoffs right now.
Right.
Clippers, veteran savvy. Can it win? Obviously, you guys think he can get them out of the West? I mean, minus Kawhi, they took game 1 versus Dallas. Westbrook, integral part, off the bench, smart, doing it on both ends, defensively and offensively. James Harden in his bag, 28 and 8, 6 for 11 from deep. This supporting cast, I haven't even mentioned PG and what he brings to the game. Do you guys think that this team has a chance to get out of the West?
Man, I mean, the West is tough, man. You know, especially without Kawhi Leonard, it's definitely going to be tough. But they're definitely going to have to use Westbrook a lot and let him, you know, do his thing and you know, be him. But yeah, man, I mean, you know, the West is so stacked, man. I don't know.
And we're not even saying they go get out the first round. They're just up 1-0 on Dallas. I mean, the series, you know what I mean? The series is just getting started. But Jack, do you feel like if Kawhi is able to come back, can this team come out of the West?
That's my thing, Matt. I love the Clippers. I love the coach. I love the way they put James and Russ and Kawhi and Paul together. I love that whole little thing. But I know Jason Kidd, I know Kawhi, I know Luka Doncic, the leading scorer in the NBA this year. They're gonna come back.
This is far from over. Far from over.
Yeah, because you know how Luka has some amazing games there in the playoffs. So my thing is, they can tie the series up. Now they have home court advantage. So we've seen James do this, and I love when James playing well because it's just the game is just more exciting when he getting his threes and doing his ISO. The game is way more exciting, but he hasn't sustained that on no team he's been on to get them, you know what I'm saying, to the championship or out of the Western Conference. So with Kawhi coming back, that's less shots for a lot of these guys too. So how this gonna look when he come back? I don't know if the Clippers can do it, but I know they will see a different Dallas team come game 2.
I mean, I kind of feel like, Clippers have been my pick from the beginning, and I agree with, you know, James has been great, you know, in flashes of the playoffs, but hasn't been consistent. But I think this team is different from a standpoint if he doesn't have to be him every single night. You know what I mean? Like, you know, PG could be him. You know, Russ can come off the bench and still be him. If they're able to get Kawhi, we already know Kawhi's resume when it comes to playoffs and the finals. So I don't feel like there's as much pressure. And I don't know if pressure was the reason why he wasn't playing well at times, but those have always been kind of the James Harden shows with you know, with the Rockets, obviously, and then him and Embiid, and that didn't really mix too well. But I just don't feel like there's as much pressure on him, and I feel like he's definitely going to do his thing. But I do agree. There's no telling if they're going to get out of this series if they don't have Kawhi, and I don't know if they can make it through the West without Kawhi. But they're still my pick. I can't go back on my pick, and I hope that Kawhi is able to come back. BJ, before we get you out of here, man, we wanted to, you know, obviously your game speaks for itself. We definitely looking forward to having you come on All the Smoke. Soon, but we wanted to touch on just Tough Crowd and what you've been able to build and your brand and your partnerships and what's kind of been the future for you there, if you don't mind breaking it down for us, as I'm interested, but I know our fans are interested in hearing too.
Yeah, Tough Crowd is a brand I started when I took a trip to China. I think it was my last year playing basketball, and I was just looking at how big our culture was over there. So, as far as hip hop and fashion, and when I came back, I was just like, man, I want to start a brand. So, started a brand, set on the name Tough Crowd for a while. And Tough Crowd is just for anybody that's like an entrepreneur or anybody that's wanting more in life. And at the end of the day, life is just a tough crowd because we always got to prove ourselves, and it's always haters and doubters. So that's like the meaning behind it, a tough crowd. And the reason why I put Tough Crowd on the collar was because back in the day, they had the selfie era, right? So everybody was taking selfies. So I was doing that to use to get the brand out there and use marketing. So it was like a cool little marketing way to get everybody to see the brand at first.
So I know you've, if I'm not mistaken, I follow you on IG. I know you have a gym, a hoop gym. This brand. You've also did a partnership with your brother Steph Curry, and you were one of the early Under Armour guys, weren't you?
Yeah. I was the first one to sign to Under Armour. Then Curry came over, and so me and Curry, we have a lot of relationships with people from Under Armour. So it was just dope, the fact to be able to do that collab, go back to my home gym in Raleigh Park where I grew up at, actually where I first started playing basketball at 3. Doing that for the community, dropping the collab was dope, man. And it was actually one of our biggest moments so far.
He also made our Hall of Fame jackets for our Old Kill ceremony too.
Oh, dope.
Oh yeah.
Really dope.
Hooked everybody up.
That's
that was dope.
Up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's really good. And again, we're gonna dig a little, get into more of your story once we have you on the show. We just want to give y'all a taste of what our guy is giving you right now. But before we get you out of here, Gil's Arena.
Yes.
In 1 year, you guys have done amazing things. You guys just had a live show. Shout out to the whole team, man. I think it's a beautiful thing, the way you guys have been come together. I feel like there's we all know there's a huge shift in media right now.
Yeah.
And when I was on Paul George's podcast the other day, I was like, I don't look at any of my brothers as competition. I feel like we're all moving the needle. We're all pushing. We're all changing the game. And there's enough money for all of us, because there's definitely some good money out here. But tell us, how that, how you guys kind of came about and what that experience has been like for you guys.
Man, the experience has been great. First, I want to shout out Gil, man, for giving me the opportunity and giving, Rashad, Ken, Lexi Brown, Josiah,
Kmart,
Norris Cole, everybody, Tim, Steve, everybody over there, Paulo. And, being from LA, LA, I got to be real, a lot of us, we don't do business together. So,
unfortunately,
the fact that Gil, as an OG, gave me the opportunity to be on the show, definitely has opened up a lot of doors for me outside of it. I've done speaking engagements for the NBA. Getting back with the Bucks has been tremendous. So, just the whole experience and just being able to talk about the game and my life, it's been great, man. It's been great. It's been awesome.
No, I think that shit is dope because you guys, it's different. Like you bring your energy, Gil brings his energy, Rashad is burnt over there. He brings his energy. Kmart and, all the people you guys have rotating as well. Our brother Josiah, you know what I mean? Joe is our dog. I went to college with Joe. He played on the same hoop team. But I just really love. But quick story, Jack. I don't think I've never told this story. So a podcast was pitched to me before I came up with this idea for me and Kmart. And this dude from Vice Sports pitched it to me. I don't even know if Kmart knows this story or not. I want to ask him one day. But the dude that was doing it died. The dude that had the idea and was taking it to Vice, it died. And then
really?
Yeah. And then maybe 6 months later is when I hit you up like, yo, let's do this thing. But it was pitched to me originally to do something with Kmart.
That's my boy.
Yeah, it's our dog.
Yeah, Vice Sports.
Shout out Kmart. Shout out Kmart and Rashad McCants. That's my brothers, man.
Yeah, no, like I said, I love the energy in the mix.
Yeah, the mix. Yeah,
of burntness.
We be talking crazy.
And humor. Yeah. How was your? We're gonna start doing a live. We've done a few live shows. We're going on a live tour this summer. But how was it? You guys, sold out the El Rey, right? 1,200 people at the El Rey. What was that experience?
Oh,
like?
the El Rey was great, man. And the thing about the live show, your fans come, so they just be in there rowdy. They just asking questions. They just be shouting out stuff. They be going back and forth. The questions are kind of intense. But I mean, just overall, man, just to be out of the element of playing in the arena And, you know, having life after basketball and doing something different is just like, dang, like we still stars. Like we still like, you know, we still got it.
I love it. I love it. Well, congratulations, man. And again, thank you for coming on our show today. And we look forward to you coming and sitting down with us and really chopping it up.
No, for sure, man. Thank you, Stack.
Yep.
Thank you, Matt. Man.
Love, Five. You know that. Always.
Always, Five. Whoop.
Hey, send our love to the bros over there, too.
For sure.
Yeah,
I will.
For sure. Yeah, tell everybody we said what up.
All right, love y'all.
Jack, right now we want to welcome to the show. When this idea was pitched to me, I loved it instantly. You know, once I looked up who he was and what he had going on, and then obviously who his sister was, like, oh, this dude is dope, but he also has his own story, not to mention, you know, what he's doing with Coach Cal. So right now, welcome to Unplugged, Craig Robinson. Craig, how you doing, man?
Sure.
I'm doing fine. So happy to be here with you, brothers, man. Thanks for having me.
Man, we appreciate you making some time for us. Former Division I coach, two-time, had some games of his own, Jack, two-time Ivy League Player of the Year over at Princeton. Worked in the front office with the Bucks and the Knicks. Recently launched a new podcast with Coach Cal, which I'm definitely looking forward to catching up on. Craig, what's going on, man? I just threw a lot at you, but what's going on with you right now currently?
Listen, so I'm currently the executive director of the NABC, which is the National Association of Basketball Coaches. 2 years ago, we launched our own media content creating company called Coaches Plus, and part of that, we've done 3 documentaries, and we've launched this podcast called Ways to Win with Coach Cal. And I can't tell you how thrilled I am to be doing that. And then to be on here with you guys. I am a huge fan of your show, was a fan of you guys while you were playing, even though I'm older than you. I know all about you. I coached in the Pac-12. So Matt, I came to Oregon State right after you left, a little bit after you left. So I coached against Drew and Drew Holiday and Westbrook and that team that just were beating the pants off folks.
Yeah.
So Steven, I'm a big fan of yours because I like both of you all because you're like me. You're like big guys who can play guard, but you also can guard people.
Yeah.
Both sides.
That's how I was.
Both sides of the ball. Tell us how this pod with Coach Cal came about. What should we be expecting? And then obviously the whirlwind. You know, your good friend is leaving Kentucky, where he set down set the precedents for the one and dones and all the pros that he's turned out, and he's off to Arkansas. So tell me how the pod came about. A little bit about your guys' friendship and what we should expect from the podcast.
Yeah, well, I've known Cal for a long time, and he was always really nice to me when I got into coaching, and we've sort of stayed connected. And then once I got this job, he was on the board, and I pitched the board on using our coaches to start a content creation company where we use our coaches and we tell stories about coaches, about coaching, about ball. And then we had this idea to do a podcast about lessons learned on the court, on the field, that can translate into regular life, the business world, teaching, leadership, that kind of thing. And we were trying to figure out who would be good to be on. And so I talked to a couple of coaches and I talked to Cal. And Cal, of course, you guys know how Cal is. He raised his hand. He was like, podcast? Yeah, I'm in. And that's how we got it. And obviously we launched it right before the start of the NCAA tournament. So we're doing shows, and then he's plays in the tournament and then leaves Kentucky.
Crazy.
And that's where we are. But it's been chaotic for him, I'm sure. But as you guys know, in this business, chaos makes for good stories.
Right. And it don't last long. And one thing about Cal, I know from watching from afar, he adjusts quickly. You know what I'm saying? He adjusts real quickly.
Right. And I listened to your last episode. It might not have been your last one, but a recent one where you had Boogie on talking about Cal and talking about how the effect on him is like when you have two parents who get divorced, right? For his players, they're riding with them 100%, but they're still loyal to Kentucky. So I find that as a really interesting dynamic with all this going on. But this is the business that we're in. You get hired, you get fired, and my question was to Kentucky, who you gonna get?
Right.
Who you gonna get?
That's a hard act to follow.
That's a hard act to follow. And I represent all the coaches in our organization, so I'm happy for Mark Pope, but that's a hard job, hard fans, hard shoes to fill. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hard job. You were a 4-year starter at Princeton under the great Pete Carroll. Pete Carrill. He was also a longtime Kings assistant. Can you say that the offense at Princeton taught you about life?
Oh, absolutely, Stephen. I will tell you, it not only taught me about life, but it taught me how to play too, right? Because, I'll start with that part first. Now all the stuff you see run in the NBA, that's all former Princeton offense stuff. Pistol, back cuts off a chin, all that stuff got started. I was doing that when I was in college. And so I learned how to play from Coach Carrill. But, there were a couple of things when I think about some of the life lessons I learned from him, because there were many. But the ones that stick out were, first and foremost, everything is important. He preached that all the time, because we were Princeton, right? We weren't McDonald's All-Americans. And when we had to play folks like you in order to win those games, which we won our share of, you had to do everything perfectly.
Right.
And so what that taught me was that everything you do, whether people are looking at you or not, is important. How you come to work every day, how do you be a professional, how you hit the weight room, how you hit the books in school, all of that contributes to being good enough to beat the Steven Jacksons of the world, right? You can't beat the Steven Jacksons of the world. You just come show up for a game. The second thing I would say is, in the Princeton offense and in basketball generally, if you give yourself over to the team and the process in the game, so being unselfish, you get further ahead than if you are selfish.
Thanks.
So when you make a cut and you're not going to get a pass, but that cut's going to open up the guy behind you. A lot of guys don't learn that these days playing basketball with their one-on-0 workouts.
Yeah, they don't know how to play off the ball at all.
They don't know how to play off the ball, and off the ball is teaching you how to sacrifice for the good of the team. Those are a couple of things, man, that I took with me. Before I got into coaching, I spent 14 years in corporate America and investment banking, and those were the lessons that got me to move up the corporate ladder.
Well, hold on, I got one more question. What kind of person was Coach off the court?
Coach E.
Well, you guys got the good Coach E in the NBA. I always used to laugh when I used to go visit him in Sacramento. I was like, Coach, you're way nicer to these guys than you were to us. I used to tell people he was hard on us, and he coached by character assassination, right? So he had a sharp tongue.
He would talk big shit.
He had a sharp tongue. And what he did, guys, and I tried to do this with my coaching only without the acidity. Every day. We called it going down the line. Every day after practice, where you stood, because he would go down the line and tell you what you did well and didn't do well at practice. Every day. So if you were the 15th guy on the roster, you knew what it'd take to get to be number one. It was all accountability. You knew why the number one guy was number one, and you knew why you were 15.
Yeah.
And if you were the number one guy, you knew why you were number one, and you knew why what the other guys had to do to come take you from being number one. That daily accountability, most people can't take it, and most athletes can't take it.
Especially this day and age.
in this day and age, oh, forget about it, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you know, you have to handle these kids with kid gloves,
Mm-hmm.
and like you, I'm coaching my two youngest in AAU, and I barely even open my mouth these days because I'm scared I'm gonna shatter somebody's future dreams.
Crazy.
Well, I dealt with it coming in with Greg Popovich, but it was the best thing for me. You know, Greg was hard on me, but when I seen him treat Tim Duncan the same way he was treating me and was hard on the best player, it was easy for me to take because he talking to the best player like that. So I needed that, and that was definitely beneficial for me.
Well, Jack, you know, and it's really interesting because I was late to the NBA game when I started working in the front office, and it amazed me how many times that didn't happen, right? Like I'm with you. I visited with Pop a lot before I went to the NBA to see if it was something I wanted to do, and he reminded me of Coach Carrill, only just a milder version, but the ability to hold your best players accountable and the ability of your best players to allow the coach to hold you accountable is so big in winning. And to me, it's a good example of why it's so hard for these teams to win on a consistent basis because they're changing out the coaches so much. You're afraid to hold guys accountable because you're trying to hang on to your job.
Right. Absolutely. Your sister, the former First Lady, Miss Michelle Obama, obviously wanted to shout that out. And real quick, what was she like as a sister? But then I want to get to those pickup games and hear if you got any good pickup games with Barack.
Well, you know, my sister and I are close and continue to be close today. And, you know, she was people don't realize she was like a really good athlete, but she came along right at the time, right before folks started pushing girls into sports. And even if she was, her personality, she was more of why do we have to keep score? You know, why does there have to be a winner? And I was like, well, that's the whole point of competing.
That's life or death to some people.
But she was a good sister to have because we're like 20 months apart. So when I was playing basketball, she was playing basketball. When I was playing softball, she was playing softball. When I was playing football, she was playing football. I played ice hockey at our park. She played ice hockey at the park. So she was my first competitor, and my dad was my first coach. So we've been close ever since and continue to be. So I appreciate you asking about her. And then the pickup game. Well, you guys have heard. I don't know if you've heard this story. I've told it so many times about my sister asking me to take Barack to play pickup basketball when she was first dating him. You guys haven't heard that story? All right, let me share it with you. So my sister, who, you know, she had her share of dates and she went to Princeton too. So, you know, she was popular on campus and had boyfriends, but they never lasted too long. So we get out of college and I went overseas, played, came back, started working. She meets this guy and she says, he fashions himself a basketball player. And I'm like, well, what do you want me to do about it? And she said, I know how you and Dad always talk about you can tell a guy's personality and character by playing pickup basketball. Because my dad used to, well, and you guys know these dudes who be calling fouls. He's like a jerk if he's a jerk in pickup, he's a jerk in real life.
That's funny.
And so my sister's like, would you take him to play? I was like, no way. First of all, I play with real dudes. You know, like I'm in Chicago. I'm playing, you know, Michael Jordan plays in our summer league, Tim Hardaway. I mean, I'm a bona fide player.
Real
I was like,
hooper.
he'll get killed out there. Yeah, I'm a real hooper. And she was like, come on, please. And just kept begging me. And I was like, finally, okay, I'll do it. And I was like, but I'm not going to be your bad guy. If this dude turns out to be a jerk, you got to, I'm not saying it. You have to say it. So I put together a group of my friends, a couple of my friends, Arnie Duncan, who you guys probably have heard of, was former Secretary of Education, and John Rogers, who runs a mutual fund in Chicago, and Marty Nesbitt, and some other guys who are friends of mine. And we put together this game, and we're playing, and Barack comes, and, you know, we're playing, and to my surprise, he wasn't that bad, but, you know, not like us, not like the three of us. And I'm taking some liberties, including myself and you guys. But he could hold his own in a pickup game, right? So so I had to report back to my sister. She said, "What'd you think?" And I said, "Well, it was actually pretty good. Like, he passed the ball when he should have passed. He took shots when he should have taken it." And I said, most importantly, he didn't try and suck up to me, like passing the ball to me and just because I'm your sister. It was like, he was not noticeable. It was a good game. And that was how that he passed that test, and the rest is history. We had no idea the guy was going to be president.
So because
had no idea.
So pretty much so because of you is how the union formed, is what you're saying.
It's absolutely because of me. It's absolutely because of me. Because I could have just been like, the dude can't play. I don't know why you be with this little skinny guy. He can't play.
Loving basketball is a beautiful thing.
I love it. The state of college sports right now, the transfer portal, NIL, the emergence of women's basketball. Let's start with the transfer portal, seeing that you're first and foremost a father. So I know you're teaching your kids, when adversity hits, you got to stand in it and get through it. But then you've also been a coach, and I know a lot of coaches like getting those experienced players in the portal. So talk to us about the portal.
Well, I would say that the way the portal's currently constructed, along with the fact that they're doing NIL and it started at the same time, it's not working the way they thought it was going to work. It's turned into pay for play, right? And to your point about folks sticking it out when they have a tough time, it's too easy to just chase the money.
Right.
So, and the second thing, and most importantly, and folks are not talking about this enough, is that when you go into the portal, it's not like Steven Jackson, Matt Barnes going to the portal. Y'all going to get picked up. It's Joe Blow. I'm not even going to say Craig Robinson. It's Joe Blow from X University with no prospects, and he's hoping somebody's going to pick him up. And so he loses loses his bird in the hand. Go for two in the bush, and then he's out. And most of these kids, what they're not reporting on are the people who get stuck in the portal and don't have a home to go to.
Well, they also said, not to cut you off, there's over 1,500 kids in the transfer portal and a little bit over 350 Division I programs.
Openings.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, what are we
it's a numbers
doing?
Game.
What are we doing?
It's a numbers game. And so here, you didn't cut me off because you're going right where I'm going with this. In addition to that, when you transfer, and you guys know this with your own kids and just reading the papers, these schools have different admissions policies, so not all your credits transfer. So what I liked about having to sit out a year, all the athletes got ahead because you got caught up on the work, and you had some time to get it, and then you got ahead so you could you go to school in the summer, and next thing you know, you're working on your graduate degree. All that's going to go out the window, and they're not talking about that because it's too soon to have any data on it. And I'm so sick of this whole data thing. I shouldn't say that.
But you also got to think. I know on the basketball side, they're not going for that anyway. Which it's just a whole different. I remember Jack went straight to the pros, but I remember, I was kind of the end of an era. 96 guys started going pro, or 95 guys started going pro. I'm 98. So we went for the reasons you said. Obviously, you couldn't tell us we weren't going to the pros, but we also went to get a degree. But those days are long gone. If you stay in college basketball, if you stay past 2 years, there's a problem with you. You know what I mean? So it's just a whole different mentality and thinking, which you can't fault the kids for thinking this way because that's what's going on. So they had to adapt.
But Matt, to your point, there are 450 jobs in the NBA.
That's it.
And really, I always tell people after I worked in the NBA, because I was like, so where are all the good players? They're all in the NBA. So and you cut off like the top 8 guys are the ones who play. So that's 8 times, that's 240 guys. The rest of the guys are expendable, G League, might get in, might not. So we're talking about a small chance of making it, and all these guys are putting all their eggs in one basket. I just don't like the way it is, and we at the NABC are trying to help with the coaches are trying to help the NCAA come up with a better way for it. So I like the idea of folks being able to have some freedom, but the way this is currently constructed, it's not doing it's doing a disservice to the student athletes. And then there's one other point here. I don't think these are just student athletes saying, all right, I'm gonna raise my hand and go in the portal. You know, there are agents and handlers who are telling guys, oh, I can get you this amount of money, and they really don't have an offer.
Or just guys, go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, I just want to give you 2 examples of the points you're making. You talked about credits and credits not transferring over to certain colleges. Don Staley had to create she had to create she had to create a what's the word I'm looking for, Matt?
Major.
She had to create a major just to get this just to get this player, and have the school create a major just so they can get this player. And to your other point, Prime Deion Sanders even said it. His daughter jumped in the transfer portal, and he called it dumb because, to your point, why jump in the transfer portal when you don't have a school to go to? It makes no sense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that I just want to make points, 2 great points of what you said, because Deion just said that to us when we had him on the show.
The emergence of women's basketball. You know, I was someone who played D1 and played the tournament, and I still feel like there's nothing like March Madness. But I feel like in the last 2 years, the women's March Madness has been bigger and had more stars than the men's. Talk to us about that as a former Division I college basketball player and a coach.
Yeah, I will. And as a parent of a daughter, my second oldest played at Princeton, got drafted, you know, went to the NCAA tournament, got drafted, she got cut, went overseas, played a couple of years. Now she's working in finance, right? I think it's just a matter of time. The women's game it's not the men's game, right? But it's caught up from it's catching up from a media standpoint. Like it's getting enough attention from folks like you, folks like ESPN. That's all they needed is a little bit of that. And then I always said they needed those storytellers to tell the drama of what's going on in the women's game, because as a sports fan, like, you know, I watch football. I was a baseball fan growing up. You don't just root for your team. You root against the teams your team doesn't like.
Like the 49ers.
And yeah. And I'm from Chicago. I rooted against the Packers. I like, and now I live in Wisconsin, and I'm like, oh my God, I must have done something
if they only
wrong.
know.
Yeah. But I think that the attention that the game is getting is helping people. It's awakening people to another form of competition that they weren't paying attention to because it just wasn't being seen.
I agree.
And I'm really excited for what's going on because it's basketball for me. Like, you know, I was made privy to a stat that I did not know. The number one demographic of the fans who go to see the WNBA are Black males.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Matt, your reaction was my reaction when I heard
didn't expect that. But interesting.
I didn't expect it either. I didn't expect it either. You know, I was thinking they would say something like LGBT something or other, but it is straight Black male. And when you think about it, when I want to take my kids to a game that's affordable and I want to sit down in front,
keyword,
I want to get good
keyword affordable.
I can go to a WNBA game.
Right.
And then my 2 younger sons who are in 8th grade and 6th grade, they grew up watching their sister who and I have an older son who played Division III college, but they all watch their sister play, and she's their role model. It's like it's just a different time for women, and it's happening. I'm really excited for it.
I love it. I love the growth. I love where it's going. The fact that it's a topic of conversation, the fact that people are getting big time shoe deals now, and I definitely think it's good overall for the growth of the sport. Last question before we get you out of here. Your thought on being, again, a former player and coach on the college landscape, the former professional, NBA and particularly NFL guys that are coming back and starting to coach college.
Yeah. I love it. I love it for a couple of reasons. One is so many times, like when I was growing up, I never thought I could coach for a living, right? Like that wasn't on my list of things, right? It was like be a teacher. My families are full of teachers and cops and firemen and city workers and laborers and things like that. So just having the opportunity for young, particularly African Americans, as a way to get in the game is fantastic. And then secondly, what I learned in the NBA, and I'd love to get you guys' take on this, but what I learned is the most important person in a pro franchise is the person who has the ability to connect with the players.
Absolutely.
And then sometimes that becomes threatening, but that's for another show.
Because most of the time those are the assistant coaches.
And those are the guys who can get through to the players and help your team win.
Absolutely.
And so the more guys who have pro experience who can get in on the game and learn the coaching profession, because a lot of people don't realize you can't just like come out and blow a whistle and just say, okay, let's have 2 lines for layups and then scrimmage, right? Like it's a real profession. The more who can learn that profession, the better it is for our game and the better it is for the players, our student athletes, especially the players, because most of our players are not going to the NBA. Yeah. They're not going pro. So hearing from the guys who know how hard it is to do it, if you want to sign up for that, that's great. And if you don't, you understand what other stuff you can do.
Yeah. Absolutely. One thing, I mean, people don't understand, and as we were talking earlier, the transfer portal and the likeliness of going pro, 99% of student athletes don't go pro in sports. They may go pro in another profession, but not in sports. So it's a crazy number if you really think about it at the end of the day. But Craig, we want to thank you, man, for your time. Best of luck with the pod and everything else you have going on. Give Coach Cal our best, man, and come back. We want to catch up with you again.
Absolutely. And we want to have you guys on so you can share some of your life lessons you guys learned.
Let us know. Anytime.
I'd love to have you on.
Anytime.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate you.
Thanks for coming, Craig.
We want to thank our guest today, Craig Robinson, and our brother, Brandon Jennings.
Yes, sir.
Jack, it was a good one today, man. We covered a lot of stuff. Good luck. What's next for you?
Well, next I got coaching the Allen Iverson game, and shout out to my son Steve Jr. He made the Allen Iverson Classic. It's gonna be dope for him. A lot of good players, Cooper Flag and Mercy, Masterpiece son. A lot of those guys supposed to be there. And shout out to AI and Bobby and all them. But I'll see you in Miami.
I'll be in Atlanta before that, though. I'll be in Atlanta the weekend before with the Twins AAU.
Oh, I'll be there pulling up.
Straight up, man. You can catch this Unplugged on the DraftKings Network and All the Smoke Productions YouTube. We'll see you guys next week.